In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use our opening range breakout platform to find trades throughout the day. If you're a full-time day trader, you'll find the breakout setup to be a little bit more useful. And if you have a full-time job and you trade a little bit more on the part-time basis, you'll find the pullback setup offers you better setups that fit your trading style with some of your constraints. I'll show you examples of both in today's video, but first things first, we need to understand how do we decide which direction we even want to trade? Which direction do we want to trade today, long or short? That's the first question we need to answer. Now, to help us answer that, you first need to decide, are you trading all symbols, the S&P 100, the NASDAQ, you have your own custom watch list, whatever it is. Load that in. For this exercise, I'm going to use all symbols. Now with all symbols, I'm going to start by clicking the 5-minute for the opening range duration here. And if we take a look at the market bias, we can see that the bulls were leading the way, 453 long side setups compared to we had 308 short side setups. So for the first 5 minutes, the bulls are leading the way. Now if we come in and we toggle this from 5 minutes to 15 minutes, we see the same thing here. Bulls are still leading the way, 452 to 326. So for the first 5 and 15 minutes, it's the long side setups that we're looking at. Now see what happens when we get to the 30-minute mark. This is by 7 a.m. Pacific. If we take a look, now all of a sudden this is flipped and the bears are the ones in control. Now this gives us an idea of which direction we want to be looking at. All the way up. So if we were to say draw this out as a line graph, for the first 5 minutes we had a bullish bias. For the next 15 minutes, or for the first 15 minutes, so the next 10 minutes, we still continue to have that same bullish bias. Finally, in that last 15-minute range, so this is from 6:45 a.m. Pacific to 7 a.m. Pacific, so that last 15 minutes, the bears made a push where by the time that 30-minute range kicked in, now most of the sentiment after that, the setups that we were seeing were more towards the bearish side. So that gives us an idea that, okay, now the bias for the rest of the day we want to hold is a short side bias. Now using that, I'm going to come in, click all for our duration, but for our trade direction, I'm going to focus on the shorts. Now, how do you know which of these 2,075 setups you want to take? I filtered down to shorts, which takes us to 994 setups, but that's still an awful lot of setups. The easiest way is to start with filtering down your watch list. This gives you some quality stocks that you actually want to focus on, that you like to trade. Now, in my case, for the short side setup, there were two lists I was looking at, the S&P 100 and the NASDAQ 100. Now with both of these, so I'll start with the S&P 100, I have some basic filters I'm looking at. Inside of our live scanner, we've built in some back testing, and with that back testing, we have some filters here. So for example, I'm looking at a minimum win rate, a minimum expectancy, and I have some volume and entry price filters built in. Now for the win rate, I'm looking for at least a 60% win rate over the past 3 months. That tells me that this strategy is working. With expectancy, this is the trade expectancy. I want to see a positive trade expectancy, which tells me that on the whole, I'm looking to make money on this overall trade idea. So these are built in or default. You can adjust them if you want. But with that, we still have 135 setups. So how do we narrow this down further? Here, I like to use technical filters. These are filters that I've applied on the daily time frame. I update them every single day, and they help, I think, layer on daily time frame bias to find intraday volatility opportunities. Let me show you what I mean. So let's say I want to, in this case, since I'm focusing on shorts, find the strongest shorts in trending markets. So I'm going to toggle on the EMA bear switch. That tells me where do we have setups where we have EMAs stacked to the bearish side. And this is what we had today. We had Visa, BMY, Dow, AIG, Salesforce. This is where you can get a starting list of stocks in which we have a short side setup with daily time frame bias. Now 19 setups you might consider to still be a lot. Keep in mind these 19 are flowing throughout the day. If you're a full-time trader, then it's the breakouts that I think will find most useful. So take a look at the breakouts that started to flow in using these filters. Now, first 15 minutes, remember, we had a long side bias. So I'm going to start at 7:01. really that 30-minute onwards, where we can see what really tends to happen. We have Salesforce, we have UNP, we have AIG, we have Visa come in. There's trades that are flowing in throughout the day. If we switch this from the S&P 100 to the NASDAQ, you can see some more opportunities. Monster early on in the morning, then we had ASML, Lululemon, ISRG. If you look at all symbols, you'll find many, many, many more opportunities. And from here, you can pick and choose based off of the symbols you like. Now, if you have a full-time job, this is a lot of work. What I think is the simplest way to just come in and see what are the active setups, just narrow down for the pullback setup here. And the ones I like to focus on are symbols that are appearing multiple times where I see both a 1-to-1 and a 1-to-2. That tells me I have at least that 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio that has a pretty decent probability, and there's room for this trade to run as well to the second target. So for example, Ericsson was a great example of that, a smaller price stock here. But if we were to repeat the same process with, say, the S&P 100, now you have a much smaller list of stocks. If you take a look at this, for example, we're looking at pullbacks and Dow again before that 7 a.m. mark. So we really have two opportunities, one which appeared 2 times, and then you had Visa. We take a look at each of these. Let's come into Bristol Myers first. You can see Bristol Myers, the setup that the scanner found was at 749, and that's a pullback setup. This is using the 5-minute opening range breakout. So if I was to come into the 5-minute opening range breakout, it's when price pulls all the way back up to this half range mark. That's when the scanner's saying, hey, this is a good pullback opportunity in a setup that already has some fairly positive stats. Here we have two different setups that are triggering, one in which we can risk 1 to make 1, the second in which we can risk 1 to make 2. Both have some fairly solid win rate percentages, and both gave us triggers today. Visa was the other opportunity. You take a look at Visa. Visa a little bit later throughout the day. This was a 30-minute pullback towards the tail end of that lunchtime hour, 9:57 a.m. Pacific. So we take a look at Visa here, 30 minutes. Now take a look at Visa first off. If you've been trading the opening range, this should look like a really wide range to you. So let's actually see if it is a wide range. I'm going to open this up. Today's opening range, $6.05. Our average range, $2.50. So this was very clearly a wide range inside of Visa, and the pullback setup here is the one that looked much better. You see that pulled all the way back to the half range mark. This is the setup that the live scanner identified. Opportunity for a risk 1 to make 2 setup. We didn't quite hit the target. We just closed end of day, making our way to the target, but fell a little bit shy of it. So that's how you can use the live scanner to very quickly find trades throughout the day, whatever trades you like. Here we looked at 2 different setups, pullbacks and breakouts, and I focused on the short side setups here. If we wanted to, instead of, say, the short side setups, look at all of the setups here for the pullback opportunity, that gives you a wider list. Inside of the NASDAQ, for example, now you have 38 trades. So you can mix and match based off of what you like. For those of you that are long only traders, you can still find which are the long setups in which you have probabilities on your side, even if it's, say, just the 5 and 15 minutes that are still active based off of the bias that we saw. There's lots of ways to use the live scanner. I'm hoping today's video helps reinforce some of the concepts we discussed earlier when talking about how to use the scanner to find some of the best setups, like the ones inside of Bristol Myers that we saw today, along with Monster, which was a really nice short side opportunity. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and I'll see you in our next update.